I am recording.
Ba, ba,
Ba.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to the 650th episode of the Pokemon Podcast. It's super effective. I'm your host, Steve. With me is Hannah.
I forgot to take my glasses off. We're recording a bit early. I wear my glasses for work. We're recording right after work. I'm here. Hi.
Hello. Bobby also here.
Yeah, no work, no glasses. So I guess, yeah.
Wait, should I put on glasses? Because this is like my work.
If you want to.
I don't know where they are. Big 650 last episode of the year. Of course, we'll be back next week. We don't miss a Monday, but kind of cool. 650 last episode of the year. We got some Pokemon news, not a whole lot, but right before we started recording this episode, Pokemon Sleep was like, here's another event. And so, sure. Okay. Also, if my voice might sound a little off, I lost my voice after my Christmas stream, so still trying to get it back, but we'll make it through here. Let's start off with that Pokemon Sleep, where they announced a New Year's event, which a little last minute. I feel like they usually give us like over a week heads up. They're really good, honestly. They're really good at giving a heads up on their events, but
Usually they're good at giving a heads up on their
Has
events.
it switched over to Ilka already? Is this the
we
first
can already feel the grasp of Ilka taking over. They're saying this is a 2-week-long special event for a special time when Pokemon who arrive to Pokemon Sleep in 2024 more likely to appear. Dratini and Aron will appear on Greengrass Isle. There will be an event exchange where you can trade Dream Coins in for various items. And additionally, the Cram-O-Matic will be back for the second week of the event. We plan to have different bonuses and Pokemon with greater appearance for both first and second week of the event. Week 1 will begin when this podcast goes up, December 30th, and then week 2 will begin on January 6th. It does affect all event areas, so you do not have to go to green grass, but there's a limit of what Pokemon spawn at what event. Spoiler, Snowdrop is as bad as always. For week 1, your candies gained for your first sleep research of the day will be multiplied by 1.5. The chance of helper Pokemon's main skill triggers will be multiplied by 1.25, and then main skills of helper Pokemon will be boosted by 1. And then week 2, researchers will gain 1.5 times the number of Dream Shards. Final strength gains from dishes will be multiplied by 1.25, 2.5 for extra tasty, or 3.75. Look at all this math. We love it. For extra tasty dishes on Sunday, and then the Cram-O-Matic will return. And on January 1st, there will be 3 times the Drowsy power. January 2nd and 3rd will be 1.5 times the Drowsy power. Almost said powder. Bobby, before recording, you said you canceled your premium membership.
I did. Yeah. I figure we'll go a month or 2 without it, see if I'm feeling like I need it again. It's funny, we were just talking about how, well, not just talking about, but over the last few weeks, we've talked about how, I guess we sort of talked about how, like, it doesn't feel like, it feels like we're getting Bellsprouts all the time, right? It feels like we're getting Ekans or we're getting Geodudes or whatever, like the common stuff all the time.
The base Pokemon.
The base Pokemon, right? And I feel like with this event, with this holiday event, I've been waking up every morning and there's been like too many Pokemon to choose from. Like I woke up this morning to like a Delibird and a Pawmot and I had done a Grubbin incense last night. So there was a Grubbin, and all of a sudden I'm like, well, now I want all these Pokemon. But again, even having like the premium biscuit, it's like, okay, well, great. That's good for one, but there's 4 Pokemon here that I want to catch, and I'm not going to spend what it's going to cost me to catch 4 Pokemon, right? Like, and then like, are they even going to be good after you've caught them, after you spent all that time?
Mm-hmm.
So, either way, it's like, okay, I don't know that I feel like I need premium, because if there's either too many Pokemon and I don't want to spend all the money to catch all of them anyway, or the Pokemon that I like, there aren't enough Pokemon that I actually want. I feel like there's never like a good medium. So I don't know. We'll see. But I think it'll be okay.
I want to give a hot take. Not that I've never given a hot take on this podcast. I think that Pokemon Sleep is such a better whale game than Pokemon Go. And I agree with you, Bobby. This week in Sleep, I have woken up to so many Pokemon that I have wanted to catch. Like, there was one day, the first day, I woke up to Palmy, which I used an incense for. Woke up to Vulpix, brand new. Woke up to Eevee with a hat, also brand new. I think there was a Delibird. There was a Comfey. I was like, I want all of these. But I spent the Palmy incense, so I feel obligated to catch the Palmy because I did that incense.
Mm-hmm.
And when I think about like Pokemon Go, I think the easiest way you can whale in Pokemon Go was when there was like unlimited raid passes, right?
Yeah.
Remote raids, yeah.
Remote raids. But even at that point, a lot of players stopped when they got a shiny, right?
Yep.
Like, I'm going to do 14 raids. I got my shiny Cobalion.
14. That's nice.
Sure.
I wish it was only 14.
Right. I got my shiny Cobalion. That's the only raid for the week. I don't need to do it anymore. When Cobalion eventually comes back, don't need to do it anymore. I already got one. Now, there are exceptions, right? There are some people that are going for 100. There are some people that are going for 100 shiny. But like the common Pokemon player, the average Pokemon player is probably just going to go for shiny and then done, move on. We know that shinies are like one of the most popular things about Pokemon Go.
Mm-hmm.
But in like Sleep, as somebody who like feels like everything in Sleep is so expensive, you could go to the store, buy all of that stuff, and catch all of those Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
And unlike Pokemon Go, Pokemon Sleep really prioritizes like non-shiny Pokemon. Like a shiny in Pokemon Sleep is ultimately useless. Where like a shiny in Pokemon, not always, but like a shiny in Pokemon Go is like useful, or like it like scratches an itch, right? Like I've checked this off.
Mm-hmm.
And there might be a couple people in Pokemon Sleep that are like, I want one of every shiny, and I don't care what they do. That they probably exist. I'm sure they do. But like the people who are still playing Sleep almost 2 years later are like, I want a helping bonus, Palmy with skill trigger small, skill trigger M, main skill up. So it's like, if it's shiny, that's like not even exciting to them because they're probably like, it's not good. But like the Palmy, the Ralts, the Igglybuff, the Sylveon, like the more exciting thing isn't the shiny. It's like the perfect skill set for those.
Yes.
Like I caught 2 Vulpixes and neither had berry finding S, so they're instantly garbage, right? Like you don't want a berry finding Pokemon without berry finding S. That's like the one thing that makes it good.
Because you actually need to be using these Pokemon, as opposed to Pokemon Go, where that's not really the case most of the time.
Yeah. Well, and it's like, it's how often you can get them to even show up in the first place, right? Like in Pokemon Go, I know I can go do 14 or 40 Cobalion raids and get a shiny one eventually, most likely, right? Like, but I can seek them out, right? I can go do as many as I want, whether that's, especially when the remote raid passes were unlimited, whether it's going and finding a raid that's worldwide or just going around my town or just looking at the gyms I have around. I know I can find those raids and do those. Whereas in Pokemon Sleep, I'm limited, right? Like, I guess I could find those shinies, but it's going to be, years long searches potentially based on how it works in Pokemon Sleep.
Yeah.
It's just like an interesting thing because I guess we'll talk about the bundles in a second, but they got some holiday bundles coming. Okay, so for week 1, if you're going to Greengrass, you're going to get a increased appearance of Vulpix, Ninetales, Dratini, Ralts, Dedenne, Stuffle, Comfey, and Cramorant.
This
The
is
Pokemon
too much, by the way. As you get into this, like reading through, it's too much. There's too much happening.
Going out with a bang.
It makes sense for Greengrass to have the most. So Dratini,
It
Ralts,
does.
Stuffle normally do not appear on Greengrass. So if
It's
you
just
do
Lapis on Greengrass.
Yeah,
That's all that's happening here.
Yeah.
yeah,
It's
you're right.
all of Lapis Pokemon on Greengrass.
This is definitely exciting for players who don't have Lapis unlocked, though, right?
Yeah, for
Oh, yeah.
sure.
Totally
For sure.
exciting.
Yeah.
If you're going to Cyan Beach, the increase is only Comfey and Cramorant. If you're going to Topalo, it's Vulpix and Ninetales. I feel like Topalo should have another boost. Like Topalo, they should boost Onyx. I know
Right,
Onyx didn't debut this year because it was like, this is what debuted this year, but people
sure.
want Onyx. They don't want.
Yeah, especially because it's not a Alolan Vulpix and Ninetales.
No, it's
just
regular.
Vulpix. Like, it's
Which
just
was
which
also
did-
this year.
Yeah, which did debut. For
Yeah,
Snowdrop,
sure.
it's just Cramorant, which
Why isn't that your favorite? I don't understand. You said it was bad, but it's like it's focused on
But
the
Cramorant's
bird.
available
It's
on the other
focused-
one.
It's what?
It's available in more than one place.
yeah, Cramorant's on Greengrass Beach and
But you got
Snowdrop.
to share it with Comfey on Cyan Beach. Here, it's like it should be just Cramorant. Like
Yeah,
it
but
should
then you
be
have
the
to deal
only
with, like-
spawns for the entire week are only you get 9 Cramorants every day. But still, this is
I
not bad.
don't have a S tier Cramorant. That's true. I was using the new calculator thing, and most of my all my Cramorants are 2 out of 4.
Oof.
Yeah, not good.
Ouch.
But also, why isn't Snowdrop, Vulpix, and Ninetales and Sneasel? Like they just debuted all.
Yeah.
Well, week 2
Because
wait
they're
till week
too
2,
new.
Wait till week 2.
It's
Yeah, but even week 2 doesn't have Vulpix and Ninetales. It just has Sneasel.
They're too new. They're too new.
Lapis Lakeside, Dratini, Dragonair, Dragonite, Ralts, Curlia, Gardevoir, Gallade, Dedenne, Stuffle, Beware, Comfey. What is happening in this game where the 3 islands are like 2 to 1 Pokemon and Lapis is like, here's everything on Lapis. We boosted it all.
well, how many of those aren't usually on Lapis? Isn't it?
Those are all on
They
Lapis.
are all
Yeah, they're
normally
all
on
on
Lapis.
This is,
yeah.
But okay, this
It's
is another
just-
problem I have with Pokemon Sleep. I don't want Dragonair, Dragonite, Curlia, Gardevoir, Gallade. I don't want the evolutions. I
Right.
want the base form.
Mm-hmm. Yep. This game punishes you for like catching. So it costs more to catch them, right? You have to do it's like 12 ticks instead of 5 for a second or a
For like
evolution.
Curlia.
For like Curlia, and then it's like 30 or 20 or something for like Gardevoir, right? Or 24 or whatever. So that takes forever. And then then you have something where the skill level is 2 levels lower than it would be if you just evolved that Ralts. And I get it in that you're getting a higher level Pokemon, right? So like you're getting something that maybe already has 2 ingredients or is almost to 2 ingredients. But you're getting something that has another skill unlocked already, another sub skill unlocked. I feel like, again, if you're playing this game and you want to maximize what you can do with the Pokemon, you want that skill level to be as high as it can be.
Yeah.
That main skill level, right? And so, I don't want to catch a guard. I almost never catch an evolved Pokemon. Almost ever catch an evolved Pokemon, unless like the main skill is like charge strength. So
Right,
I'm like,
yeah.
I don't care about that. But
Even if evolved Pokemon was hungry, I just use a regular 1 Pokeball just to try to crit it. Because I think
Yeah.
when it's hungry, it's like a 20% chance to crit or something like that.
Right.
Or 10% chance.
Or something. Yeah, it's increased.
And then on gold power plant, it's just Dedenne, which I do still think Dedenne is better than Cramorant for that skill.
Mm-hmm.
But why not Shinx? Or like, why not? Like, it's so weird to me that Lapis has this boost of all these Pokemon, but then like old gold power plant, Shinx was released this year. How isn't that?
Let me tell you about week 2. So week 2 for green grass. So this will be the January 6th, I think, is when that starts.
Yeah, January 6th.
Green grass will be Wooper, Quagsire, Sneasel, Aeron, Shinx, Drifloon, Weavile, Grubbin, Mimikyu, Sprigatito, Florigato, Meowscarada, Fuecoco, and Quaxley. Cyan Beach will be Wooper, Quagsire, Fuecoco, Crocolore, Skeledirge, Quaxley, Quaxwell, Quaquaval. Taupe Hollow will be Wooper, Quagsire, Fuecoco, Crocolar, Skeledirge. Snowdrop, just Sneasel and Weavile. Sorry, Ninetales again. Lapis will be Sprigatito, Florigato, Meowscarada, Quaxley, Quaxwell, Quaquaval. And then Old Gold Power Plant. Wooper, Quagsire, Aeron, Lairon, Aggron, Shinx, Luxio, Luxray, Drifloon, Drifbloom, Grubbin, Chargebug, Vikavolt, Mimikyu, Sprigatito, Florigato, Meowscarada, Fuecoco, Quaqualar, Skeledirge, Quaxley, Quaxwell, Quaquaval. Just like that's like all the spawns anyway.
Yes.
There can't be a slightly greater appearance rate of all these Pokemon if all of them are here.
It's like when your boss sends you an email, and every email they're like, "This is a priority." Like everything cannot be a priority.
Yes, it is that.
I don't understand.
I don't know what I want to do. I think I'm just gonna go to Power Plant because at this point in the game, Dedenne is just better than Cramorant.
Oh, for week 1?
For week 1, yeah.
Okay, yeah. I was like, week 2, it makes no sense. But
I don't know what I'm going to do for week 2. Just stay on Power Plant, I guess, because I'm still looking for Grubbin, Shinx, and Aeron.
Just have the weirdly same power plant experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But like, they were like, cool, Palmy's going to be on Old Gold Power Plant. They're really making it seem like I'm not going to see a Palmy for 2 weeks now if I go to Old Gold Power Plant. Because it's like the only thing on here not boosted.
Palmy is also on Snowdrop, isn't it?
Yes. Palmy is Greengrass, Snowdrop.
Yeah, it's all 3, Snowdrop and Old Gold Power Plant. So it looks like Snowdrop might be Steve's new favorite place if you really think about it.
With Cramorant week 1.
Cramorant, plus Palmy could pop up. And then week 2, Sneasel. So we know Hannah's going to Snowdrop week 2.
Yeah, I'm going to set an alarm so that I make sure I place Pokemon Sleep that week just to try and get a Sneasel.
It's
so there will be Dream Coins. You can exchange Dream Coins for other event items. You can see how many Dream Coins you have in the event exchange. Dream Coins will not take up your bag inventory. You can only get Dream Coins during this event. At the end of the event, you can still exchange Dream Coins after the event closes. So there will be a grace period. How to get the Dream Coins? The number of Dream Coins you get depends on the number of species and sleep styles you find. You can do the limited missions. There's research, community. In rare cases, you can get Dream Coins from people who are also participating in the event. This sounds exactly like the legendary Pokemon. Yeah, like the mains.
Yeah.
Exchange.
You will receive 70 Dream Coins in your gift box at the beginning of the event, and then another 70 at the second week of the event. You can exchange these for Poke Biscuits, Great Biscuits, Main Skills, and more. If you have any left over, you can exchange those for like Hard Candy S. Cramomatic, we've already talked about that. And then
you call it Hard Candy?
What?
You just call it Hard Candy?
Is it not called Hard Candy? Oh, Handy Candy.
Handy Candy. Hard Candy. I'm thinking like butterscotch pieces.
It's shaped like it.
True. I guess
Jolly Ranchers.
Yeah, Jolly Rancher.
Okay, so there's 3 bundles that they're doing each week. So 6 bundles altogether. Your first New Year bundle is 600 diamonds, which I think that's like $10, right? 600 diamonds is like
620. I just actually So, as someone who is moving away from premium, I did actually spend money on diamonds this week to get
the ultimate scam. Ilka
know,
got you
right?
again, Bobby.
I spent $10 on diamonds because I'm not spending $10 next month on premium. No, because I wanted the palmy incense, like that medium. I wanted that medium bundle for the holiday. I did actually think that medium bundle seemed decent after we talked about it last week, so I wanted that. But yeah, so 620 diamonds is $10.
That's crazy. 12 Poke Biscuits, 7 Handy Candy, 4 Dream Clusters. Your New Year's medium bundle, which is 2,000 diamonds, is 12 Great Biscuits, 1 Main Skill Seed, 1 Dratini Incense, 1 Ralt Incense, 1 Stuffle Incense, 1 Comfey Incense. And then the big one. This is how I know they listen to the show. I am so positive somebody from Select Button is listening to the show because they're like, how can we get Steve's money? Let's put a Dedenne and a Cramorant incense in the most expensive bundle for 5,000 diamonds, which I looked this up. It's like $70.
Yep.
8 Ultra Biscuits, 25 Great Biscuits, 1 Main Skill Seed, 1 Sub Skill Seed, 1 Dedenne, 1 Vulpix, and 1 Cramorant incense. And this is why at the beginning of this episode, I said that Pokemon Sleep was more of like a money grabbing machine than Pokemon Go.
I mean, we talked about this last week. The way that they the way that they price their diamonds is made to make people spend more money.
Yeah, well, for sure.
And then they have the very large bundles that cost a lot of diamonds, and you can't tell how much money that actually is.
Right.
But okay, realistically, because I've been working on a video for this of how much money I've spent in Pokemon Go over the last 8 years.
Nice. Oh wow!
And so I filmed in a bunch of locations for Japan. I just have to like put it together, and I'm obviously waiting till the first of the year to like post it because the year's not over. But I think like most of the time I spend $200 a year on Pogo. I'll do a $100 bundle in like February, which is near like the Unova tour or whatever, and then I'll do another like $100 bundle around GoFest. And so like $100 worth of Poke coins gets me through like 6 months ish, and I can use that to buy raid passes. And it's a little higher than like 200 because some of the tickets are like physical money you can't buy with coins.
Most of them at this point.
Yeah, most of them at this point. And I'm sure but like when you break down $200 a year, that's like what, like $15 a month, give or take, like $18 a month or something like that.
Sure.
I'm already spending $120 a year on Sleep's membership. Well, I guess technically 100 because you do the 6 months, you get the $10. So to do like $100 a year just on membership, and then to look at this New Year's bundle and be like, that in itself is $70, and that is not 6 months of content for me. Like, not content, like 6 months of like, I can make this last like 6 months.
Right.
Yeah. It's like, not. It's like 2 weeks.
Well, hold on. Like, I mean, yeah, to your point, yes, you are going to spend, like, if you're spending the money this way in Sleep, then yeah, I mean, you're gonna spend more money in Sleep for sure. I also think spending, I feel like the people spending $200, like, I feel like $200 a year in Go is low for
you, maybe.
I think $200 a year in Go is probably on average.
Okay,
like, I would guess like an average Pokemon player is probably spending like $10 a month.
I think you're still maybe if you're counting the whales in that average.
Right. So I'm sorry, let me back up. I'm not saying $200 a year on Pokemon Go is low, like, at all. I mean that $200 a year in Pokemon Go is low compared to like people who are going to potentially spend like this 5,000 diamonds in Sleep. That comparison to someone in Go, I feel like $200 a year is low in Go. So like
Oh,
I would say that someone who, if you're comparing that type of player, so the type of player who's going to spend 5,000 diamonds in Sleep, compare that to a player of the same like money spending in Go, is going to spend more money a year in Go than what this is in Sleep, if that makes any sense.
I don't know
Like,
if I agree. Just because it's so easy to buy bundles that cost so much money so frequently in Pokemon Sleep.
but that's what I'm saying though. Like someone who, so I don't know. I don't know if I'm explaining this the way I'm trying to, but like you spend $200 a year in Go, but like you're not probably going to buy this $70 bundle in Sleep, right?
If I'm thinking, like, almost every bundle I've purchased in Sleep, with I think the exception of one, was with my free diamonds. And I'm out of free diamonds now because I just bought the Christmas middle bundle or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But
so I guess
like,
that's my
I'm like trying, like for the audio listeners, there's like a dumb look on my face of like, I'm not going to buy this, but it does have my two favorite Pokemon in it, and it does address the problem that we've talked about for the last 2-3 weeks, which is all these Pokemon are showing up, and we just don't have the resources to catch them.
right.
So,
I mean, if you take the amount of money that the Ultra Biscuits and the Great Biscuits cost, like the diamonds that they cost if you buy them individually, this is like a great deal, right? Because you're way past the 5,000
put
diamonds.
a big asterisk by the word great, but
no, but you know what I mean.
Yes.
Like you're way past the 5,000 diamonds for 25 Great Biscuits and 8 Ultra Biscuits.
Yes,
That's
make the
way
game
more.
feel good with money.
So yeah, well, it's kind of like the people who are looking at like buying packs in Pocket, and now they're seeing these discounted bundles, and it's like, well, do I buy all the gold now? Because it's like, if I'm gonna spend the money anyway on this, I might as well buy the discounted version of it, right? So it's like, spend $70 now because you'll spend that 25 Great Biscuits over time, and that's over, the $70 over time with the 25 Great Biscuits and the 8 Ultra Biscuits.
I just don't feel great about us being here saying that this game, it feels slow and feels like it isn't giving us what we want every single day. And then the solution to that is to buy a $70
I'm not buying a $70 bundle. I think this is terrible. I'm saying that if people are going to buy 25 Great Biscuits and 8 Ultra Biscuits over time, that there's like this thought of like, well, you can get that at a discount now,
yes,
versus over time spending the money that 25 Great Biscuits and 8 Ultra Biscuits is going to cost you.
It does remind me of when me and Al and Chris from GoCast all mutually convinced each other to get the $99 egg incubator bundle.
That was great.
Because it was the best ever deal on incubators. And it came to like 30 cents an incubator when you did the math. Or something like that.
It was something like that. It was,
and cheap, I still have those incubators to this day. Like I haven't burned through them all because I would only save them for special events.
I've spent as much on incubators as the three of you did, but I didn't buy that bundle. So I've spent as much, but like gotten less incubators at the end of the day. Like you guys made the smart decision, I guess, in buying the bundle, and you have more incubators to spend for it. I should have done that because I've since bought that much in incubators.
But the other hidden thing that's not talked about here is if you're doing 2 weeks of New Year's and you do plan to get one of these bundles, whether it's like the $10 one or the $70 one, it would also make the most sense to be running a good camp ticket, which is another $10 for the week, assuming you don't have any.
Okay, but hold on.
And
Let's back up.
And to have the premium.
Let's back up a little bit. You're saying that you put $100 into Go for the bundle, for the $100 bundle. You get the 14,000 coins, and then you spend that over a period of time, right?
About 6 months, yeah.
Yeah, so the people could do that here too, right? This doesn't have this large bundle doesn't have to be someone who's going to use it all the 2 weeks that it comes out. This is a New Year's bundle. This could be like, okay, I'm going to put $70 in, so I get 25 Great Biscuits, 8 Ultra Biscuits, a main skill seed, a sub skill seed that I'm going to use over the next, say, 4 or 6 months. Like, they're just like, oh, I now have a Great Biscuit to use in the morning. Like, I now have this to use. Maybe they don't have premium. So they're not buying, they don't have great biscuits in the premium shop to get sleep points to, to buy them. Like, this could just be someone's like, they're not paying for premium, and so they pay this $70 and get this stuff to use these items over the next course of a few months,
I mean, I
That
think 7 months
requires a
of
lot of
premium.
self-restraint.
I think 7 months of premium is a better deal than this bundle because it's like the same price.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I think it is, considering the biscuits you get every day.
I still think one of the biggest core issue with Sleep is not enough Pokemon are hungry in the morning. I think like if one of the bonuses, instead of like 1.5 times meal power, which is like nice, if that was like, get rid of that bonus and just be like 1 to 2 guaranteed more hungry, that would be, I feel like, better.
Yeah, there's an incense for that, isn't there? The friendly incense, right? Guarantees that one Pokemon is hungry in the morning.
Oh, yes.
So they should, it should be like something to do with that. Would be, I agree. It would be much better to have something like that rather than, 1.5.
Because even if you're a free to play player, that benefits you a lot too. Because you just have more Pokemon hungry, and your Poke Biscuit just goes farther as an item. I don't know. There's all your Pokemon Sleep news for the week.
It's a game that's in an interesting place right now, and Ilka hasn't even fully taken over yet.
I sincerely think this Pokemon Day, because they have to announce something for Pokemon Sleep, right? This Pokemon Day will kind of be like make or break Pokemon Sleep for me. Like, what is their game plan? For Pokemon Day?
Interesting. I really see this year going very similar to last year. I don't see there being any like. I think they would announce something, but I don't know that it would be whatever you think would keep you wanting to play this game more. Like
I don't see Ilka saving this game, basically. I don't. I don't think they're gonna make any big changes at all.
To be fair, I think the game is like fine in its state, except that like the slow burn has overstayed its welcome. I understood it a year ago.
Yeah. I guess the reason I'm getting rid of premium is that I don't feel like this game is worth giving $10 a month to. It like without any I guess I just don't feel like this game is worth giving $10 a month to. I feel like this game is good, but I feel like it can be almost as good as a free to play player. So
yes, I agree, and that makes me sad because I want to like Pokemon Sleep a lot more. I love the art style. The developers have been doing such a good job with communication. When that hands over to Ilka, that's probably going to change. It's just slow.
Yeah. I still like. I mean, it's a great game.
Yeah,
but at a slow pace, and it just $10 a month seems it's a lot for this game, to me, at least.
Okay, let's take a quick break. When we come back, we got some more Pokemon news, so we will be right back. And we are back from our break. Pokemon and, I don't know how to say this, Aardman team up for exciting collaboration coming in 2027.
A little ways out.
Yep.
Maybe Select Button is working on this. That's why they prepped us ahead of time. I think, I'm saying the studio wrong. Aardman?
Aardman, right? I would imagine.
Aardman?
Something like that.
The Pokemon Company, this is off Pokemon's press release. Pokemon Company International and multi-award-winning independent studio Aardman have announced a special project coming to audiences in 2027. The collaboration will see Aardman bringing their unique style of storytelling in the Pokemon universe with brand new adventures. I will point out that adventures is plural. VP of Marketing and Media at the Pokemon Company commented, saying, "This is a dream partnership for Pokemon. Aardman are masters of their craft, and we've been blown away by their talent and creativity. What we've been working on together ensures our global fans are in for a treat." Marketing director of Aardman added, "It's been a huge honor working with the Pokemon Company International. We feel sincerely privileged to be trusted with bringing their characters and world to life in a brand new way. Bringing together Pokemon with the world's biggest entertainment brand together with the love and craft characters and comedic story feels incredibly exciting. Aardman and the Pokemon Company International share an emphasis on heritage and attention to detail, as well as putting our fans and audiences in the heart of what we do, which we know will steer us right as we together create charming, original, and new stories for audiences around the world." For those that are like, who or what is Aardman? They did the Wallace and Gromit stuff, and when I think of Wallace and Gromit, I also think of Chicken Run, but I don't know if they did Chicken Run.
They did Chicken Run.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah. Almost 100% sure they also did Chicken Run. Also, there's another one they did as well. So, but yeah, they did Chicken Run.
They did also Shaun the Sheep, Timmy Time, and Morph.
Yeah.
I know Wallace and Gromit.
Shaun the Sheep was also a really big one.
I've never heard of this one.
But yeah, Wallace and Gromit and Chicken Run definitely big ones for sure.
Oh, I know. Okay, I see a picture of the sheep. I now know that. Okay, I've seen the sheep. I guess I didn't know his name was Sean. I've seen almost every Wallace and Gromit.
Wow. Do you remember them?
No.
Because that's the thing for me. I know I watched them as a kid. I do not remember them at all.
I remember liking Wallace and Gromit.
Yeah. I don't remember watching any of them like all the way through, but definitely seen them, and then Chicken Run for sure. But I thought they're great. I think they're great movies, and clearly they're well liked. So I think this will be a great partnership to see what they come up with.
It'll be super interesting to see it in their visual style, because I feel like it's going to be so different from what Pokemon Concierge is.
Right. Yes.
Isn't Pokemon Concierge very similar?
Well, it's stop motion.
The way that it's done, but it's still a style of art that can be done in different ways based off of who's making it.
Right. I think a big part of them with Aardman doing this is like their style of telling a story as well. And Pokemon Concierge definitely had its own unique style of telling a story. But I don't think it'll be...
is pretty Japanese.
Yeah.
And Aardman is not.
Right, exactly. I think it'll be very different in that way. And I look forward to what they do in 2027.
That's so far.
It's a ways out, yeah. It's a bit of a ways out.
That's so far away. I have met people that don't like Wallace and Gromit because they think it's like creepy. Have you guys met people like that like don't like the animation itself? Maybe animation's not the right word. The motion itself like turns them off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never met I've not met someone who's like, I don't like Wallace and Gromit, but I understand people. I understand like the stop motion. Like, you mean just like the stop motion in general, like that style of.
It's the style of the way they do the stop motion. The way I would describe it is kind of squishiness.
Yeah, like I watched Concierge with a friend, and they were like, "Oh, this is like Wallace and Gromit." And I don't like Wallace and Gromit. That was like the first thing they said was like,
so they don't like stop. Wow. They probably don't like stop motion. Then is my guess, because like Wallace and Gromit and Pokemon Concierge are very different in a lot of ways, but the stop motion, like that style, is still stop motion.
Yeah.
Right. So.
But yes, Wallace and Gromit are definitely squishy. Like I remember them like getting like squished.
Yeah. Yes. It's a visually squishy style. I don't know how else to describe it.
I don't know if I remember anything in Pokemon Concierge getting squished.
Yeah.
I think there was some squishing in Chicken Run too. I think a lot of chickens got squished.
Mm-hmm. Probably.
Yeah. Okay. So,
I'm just interested to see, especially because there's almost definitely going to be a Pikachu in there. I can't wait to see the Aardman Pikachu lined up next to the Pokemon Concierge Pikachu and see how differently they are done.
Right,
or if it
because
gets squished.
Concierge wasn't clay; it was like fuzzy.
Yeah,
They were,
it
they were.
it was a mix. I feel like it was digital and maybe clay. I don't remember. They were kind of fuzzy, some of them.
Yeah.
Some of
Oh,
them were fuzzy.
felt. That's what it was.
Felt. Yeah. Felt
Yes.
is fuzzy.
It at least looks like felt. I think a lot of it was actually digital, but the style is much more like felt and felted pieces, whereas Aardman is a lot more clay style.
Mm. Yeah.
So you're saying, Bobby, your kids are not big Wallace and Gromit fans?
My kids are not big Wallace and Gromit. No, my kids have never watched a Wallace and Gromit movie. No, because I haven't watched one in a long time. So I haven't watched one in some amount of years. So no.
Yes. Okay. So according to their major feature films, Chicken Run, which was 2000, Wallace and Gromit, Curse of the Were-Rabbit, 2005. I do remember seeing that one.
Wow.
Flushed Away, Arthur Christmas, The Pirates, In Adventure with Scientists, Shaun the Sheep Movie, Early Man, Shaun the Sheep Movie, Farmageddon, Chicken Run, Dawn of the Nugget, and then this year was Wallace and Gromit, Vengeance Most Foul.
This year?
2024, yes.
What?
Came out December 25th, 2024 for BBC, October 27th for AFI, not the band, I don't think. But worldwide for Netflix on January 3rd.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you need something to watch next week, Wallace and Gromit has you covered on Netflix.
Yes. Someone on our Slack, I think, just went through all of them recently.
That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah. So we've been seeing a lot of I've seen a lot of many of the nights that I was watching a movie, I'd be like, I'm starting a movie. And someone would be like, I'm starting a Wallace and Gromit. Like, okay.
All right. Well, we'll see you.
See it in 2027.
2027.
Yeah, I think that it is. It's promising though, for sure, because it's two very well liked companies, right? That are, to the point of this article, like they're both very attentive to detail, right? And I think using Pokemon characters always brings in people, right? That's always popular in the first place. And then you have a studio like Aardman who does well with the storytelling and how they tell their, and everything that they do in that way. And I think that combination will be really good. So I do think like it's going to be popular, but I also think it's going to be very good.
It's going to hit a lot of people right in the nostalgia.
Yeah.
Is another thing it's going to do.
Yeah, for sure.
I just hope it's not all Gen 1 Pokemon, personally.
Well, 2027 would be the 30th anniversary. Is the 30th anniversary
2026 is.
2026 is the 30th
right?
anniversary.
Okay, so I was gonna say if it's 30th anniversary, you get nothing but Gen 1 for sure.
No.
All right, so for Pokemon Day 2026, they'll have a release date for 2027.
Yeah, right.
They did announce Concierge like super early too. They gave like almost like a year heads up for Concierge. I remember.
It takes a long time to make stop motion things.
Say what?
It takes a long time to make stop motion things.
Well, I was thinking that's probably why they're announcing this so early. Is there's probably going to be, it would probably get leaked out, or like there would be some kind of talk about it coming like sooner than later.
Yeah.
So might as well just announce this so that it's not a surprise, and then they get to announce it the way they want to.
Yeah. Moving topics here. Rayquaza, The 5-star Rayquaza is still here, still existing. You have until, I believe, January 5th to get it done. I have this in the show notes because I understand. I understand why it is 5-star. I have done so many random raids. I think I lost my voice because I was laughing so hard doing random raids. Seeing what people were bringing was just so funny. So I have just a couple thoughts because the game's been out for 2 years. I don't think, because I was doing it on Christmas Day, I was playing with people who just got the game on Christmas. I don't think that was the case. You have to get a pretty long way into the game to unlock Rayquaza. So,
Yeah, right.
So I probably did like 20 random raids. It took like 4 hours to like get through it. Failed almost all of them. I will say that.
Ooh.
On Christmas, you mean? Like specifically on Christmas?
Specifically on Christmas.
Okay.
And I was bringing not optimal supports. Like if I was to bring just like, I was bringing like a support, but like I wasn't bringing like the damage dealer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I also I think the best support would have been Clefairy. But people didn't like that I selected Clefairy, so they would back out.
Yeah, that's the thing. You have to bring something you think people are gonna like, and then wait until everyone else confirms, and then switch it to the Pokemon that's actually good and actually gonna win you the raid.
So even if I did bring optimal, I ended up bringing Finneon to a lot of raids, which Finneon, fantastic. My Finneon never died. It had Chilling Water. It had Tailwind. It healed. Charm. It was fantastic. Anyways, that's not the point. The point isn't the Finneon. The point is, every time I got into a raid, I would check their levels, which you cannot do before getting into a raid. And I think that is the biggest problem. 2 problems with raids in Scarlet and Violet, not including their being laggy.
Yeah,
because even if it wasn't leggy, these 2 problems would still exist. Number 1 is these people. That sounded rude. These people don't know what level Rayquaza is.
Yeah.
Right? Like and again, the game's been out for 2 years. I've seen so many people bring like a level 75 to a 7-star raid, and 7-star raids are 100. Rayquaza is level 75. So first problem is nowhere does Game Freak tell you what level this is. And I don't understand why. Like, I just don't get it. Just show the level. It's fine. I don't like, you've shown the level throughout the entire game up to this point.
Maybe they forgot.
They forgot. No.
Number 2, which I think is a bigger problem, is you cannot see the level of your teammates.
Yeah.
Right.
So the one that stood out to me the most and made me laugh so hard is the raid was Clefable, which I was like, okay, I saw like YouTubers make it on Clefable. That's fine. Sylveon, my Pokemon was just a level 100 Cramorant. So good. I resist, flying moves, right? Have Chilling Water. Fine. I know Cramorant survives, right? And then Gardevoir. And Gardevoir was the leader. And I was like, okay, I'm sure the Gardevoir is going to like just spam like Draining Kiss or whatever, but Gardevoir's fine. Like, no problem. Like, on paper, that team composition, great. I'm the weak link, right? Because I brought the non-fairy Pokemon. So we start the raid, and the first thing I do is I check everyone's held item. No one's holding a held item. I'm like, how is this Sylveon supposed to be getting health back? Like, just Shell Bell. And like, I'm like talking out loud to my Twitch chat. I'm like, okay, yeah, the Sylveon's probably like Shell Bell, Pixelate, Dazzling Gleam or Moonblast or whatever. The Gardevoir's probably just going to spam Draining Kiss. I'm sure the Clefable is just like Draining Kiss Metronome, because that's like what you see online, right? That's when you see on Twitter or all these. So I go through it. No one has a held item. This is a very common thing throughout all of my raids. Almost no one had a held item at all. The only one I remember out of 20 some raids is a Tinkaton having a held item, and it was Muscle Band. It wasn't even a good held item. It was like, why? You're still weaker than Krabby. Krabby is still a stronger attacker than Tinkaton. This Muscle Band ain't doing anyone any favors. But the first then I had to go back and I was like, oh man, the Sylveon's only level 75. And then my chat was like, it's not even Pixelate. It's not even the good ability. It's cute charm. And I was like, because it died. And I was like, why did it die? Well, I know why it died, because like Sylveon has dog water defense and like and then when I went back to like look at everything again, the Clefable was level 35. 35. And so this poor Gardevoir who locked in before everyone else, like just so here's the thing. First off, it wasn't my fault. Cramorant didn't die at all.
Good clarification.
Secondly, if you are a player listening to this podcast and you have frustrations with random people online, I do think some of it is your fault. And what I mean by that is if you join a raid and you see the host locks in right away, that is a bad host. You need to leave that raid, because that host is ultimately saying, you can pick whatever you want. I don't care. And we're going to go in. The host should always lock in last. Because if I'm a host and I see that a Finneon joins, not my Finneon. My Finneon was great. But if I saw, just again, example, if I'm the host and I saw a Finneon joins and locks in, I would cancel the raid out. Because in my head, they're trolling, or like we're going to fail because of this, or they don't know what they're doing. And I don't want to waste the other two people's time in the raid. And to this Gardevoir's fault, to be fair, everything looked fine, but they locked in before everyone else. So that's why I could lock in a Cramorant, a Finneon, a Toxel, a Char Cadet, right? Like, you've already locked in, so you don't have a choice now. You can't cancel the raid. You can't back out. You have locked in. So now your three guests can the Wild West of Pokemon. So this is just like general advice. If you are the host and you're complaining that raids are failing, you are the arbiter. You control what people bring. Like, if you don't like something, you got to back out.
Are you complaining about this because it happened very, very often? Because this is something we have known for years at this point.
No. Oh, sorry. No, I do know that. I'm just giving advice for that. But like I was keeping note of all of this, and I would say that we were more likely to pass or to succeed a random raid when the host locked in last. We almost always failed a raid when a host locked in first and didn't care what everyone else was bringing. But on top of that, most of the time we failed the raid was just because these counters were not level 100 at all.
Yeah.
And so, again, I think going back to if they just showed the level, because on paper, that one raid, Clefable, Gardevoir, I don't remember the last one. Sylveon. That seems like, oh, we got this in the bag. There's no way we can lose this. And then all of a sudden, the Clefable's 35. It doesn't matter what Pokemon I would have brought. There's no way I could keep that Clefable alive. And that's just a waste of everyone's 6 minutes. But again, the reason I brought all of this up is because I think they made it 5-star because people are just still bad at raids. And they want people to get Rayquaza. Like, I sincerely thought a year ago Rayquaza would be a 7-star. It would be like Mewtwo. It would be this huge special event. And because I know people struggled with Mewtwo, but so many people were like, I love the challenge of Mewtwo. It was so much fun. We had to like coordinate and think about it. And Rayquaza is so easy compared to Walking Wake or Iron Leaves or Dialga or Palkia or all these other ones. And 2 years later,
still failing.
Still failing, yeah.
Wow.
I had a great time. Don't get me wrong. Like, I still had fun. It was still cool to see what people were bringing. But it's like, it wasn't even like, oh, cool, you brought like a level 100 Squawkabilly and you hit the Intimidate and you did like this weird thing, and like, it was just like, oh, we lost because your Pokemon's level 42. It was just like, it was as bare bones simple as that, of like, we lost because your Pokemon isn't even close to 75.
Well,
And that's
yeah.
that's like a bummer. Like seeing people bring cool stuff is actually like to me exciting. Like, oh,
Yeah.
I would love to. I can't wait to see what like this Blaziken does. Although I don't think Blaziken's a good option. But there was a guy with Blaziken. I was like, lock it in. I want to see what it does. But then they switched.
I think
Okay.
so. I did some Rayquaza raids yesterday and the day before. I was just gonna do one to get one, and then I was just gonna focus on some Blissey raids to just get some EXP candy. And then I realized how easy Rayquaza was, and I was like, "Oh, I'm just gonna keep doing these Rayquaza raids because obviously the drops are really good and stuff." And I think I did like 10 or 12. We're random, just with random people, and I think we won like 8 of them, 8 or 9 of them in the last couple of days that I've done. But I did notice people. It wasn't so much the day before, but last night people started bringing Rayquaza to a lot of these raids.
Oh, that's a
And I
very
was
common
like,
thing.
I was
Yeah.
like, that's what are you doing? Like, and then those were the ones
It's
we
the
lost.
people who suddenly that's their strongest Pokemon.
Right. And so that's what I was going to say is like, I think that there are a lot of people who, especially with it being a shiny Rayquaza, you just have a lot of people who haven't been raiding. And so they're coming into this like, oh, I want the shiny Rayquaza. It's a 5-star raid. It's not a 7-star raid. So I'm going to come into this, they just bring a fairy Pokemon because they're like, oh, it's a dragon Pokemon with Dragon Terra. I'm just going to bring a fairy Pokemon and it'll
with
work,
no
right?
held
Like,
item, because in general, people who aren't competitive players don't use held
don't
items.
use held items. So they're just going into this raid like, oh, I have a fairy Pokemon and I want my shiny Rayquaza. I'm going to go do this. And I think that is going to be a majority of the people coming back to these raids. Like, I just feel like there's a lot of people who don't raid normally and they're now raiding because they want this shiny Rayquaza.
The raid system exists, but it doesn't exist in a way that makes it easy for people to learn without going out of their way to learn outside of the game. If it showed almost any more details about your teammates' Pokemon before you entered the raid, that if it showed the held item on the Pokemon and the level, I think that a lot of people would learn very quickly what they're doing wrong.
100%.
At least in part.
I agree with Hannah. Like, if it was funny because the next day, today's the 27th when we're recording, the 26th, somebody in my Twitch chat was like, that same Clefable joined my raid the day after. It was the same name because it was a Japanese name. They checked, it was a level 35 Clefable. Like, they joined again. Bummer that like they couldn't help the Clefable get the win, right? Like that Clefable, there's no way that Clefable's winning anything. Like that Clefable is the liability to anyone's raid going forward, right? Like even if you brought the best counter, Zacian or Azumarill, right? And you're belly drumming, knocking out, like that Clefable's fainting too fast to make it happen. But I do think if it showed level and people were dropping, people were like, oh, cancel raid. You would think that person would get the hint, like, oh, or like that person would be like, oh, everyone's level 100. I'm not. Oh, I get it.
Yeah.
And then I think if it showed held item, which I was like, like in my head, I'm like, Pokemon wouldn't do that. But they do that. When you do VGC, it shows all your held items. And if you remember, when you played Sword and Shield, Dynamax Adventure showed your held item and your teammates' held items when you went through. Okay. So it's like that's not like a secret thing they've ever like hidden from us before.
Yeah.
Right. I was trying to figure out where I was like, I know I've seen it where you're setting up and you can see held item. And I couldn't think of, I was like, wasn't it in Scarlet? No, it was in Sword and Shield. That's what it was. Yep.
And it kind of makes sense that they want to keep the boss's level hidden. They want there to be some mystery and challenge and excitement there. So that makes sense, even though it's annoying. But if they just showed the levels of the team members, that would fix it.
I think it would. Yeah, I do think it would fix it. I mean, like, I played raids in World of Warcraft and Final Fantasy and Destiny. Like, they don't really hold your hand, and because it's so teamwork focused,
they teach you better though. Having started the Final Fantasy 14 game in the past, I guess it was over a year ago, but recently, compared to how long it's been out, there are much better tutorials there than any Pokemon game has.
Like the story
Especially
raids,
with
yes.
raids.
Like when you're going through the story, yes, but like the end game raids, no.
Okay.
Like when you're doing like, I can't remember what the hard mode raids are in Final
I didn't
Fantasy.
get to end game.
They're like ultimate or extreme or I can't remember what they were called. But like you would think going in like, oh, I've done this Shiva a million times, and then the new hard mode Shiva, again, I can't remember what they're called. It's like the tip of my tongue. It's like, oh, nothing prepared us for like what this does. And almost every single Final Fantasy raid, I was like, I'm just gonna watch a YouTube video. Okay, like this is where I have to stand. This is where I have to go. This is like, when she makes this move, this is what I have to look for. And that's like fine. That's like the same for Destiny. Like the thing in the Destiny community is like, you're gonna spend 2 full days before somebody clears the raid because like Bungie doesn't tell you how to do it at all. Nothing. Like you have to discover it on your own, and then the community eventually figures it out and then gets faster and faster, and then like, and that's World of Warcraft, I would probably say, is closer to Final Fantasy in that regard. Anyways, I think showing the held item, showing the level, I think would go so much farther. I think if you are hosting, don't lock in. If you are joining somebody and the host locks in right away, not a good sign.
It's not too hard to do that on accident, though, so it's not 100% a bad sign. But it's not great.
I'm also curious, like, if you're not even getting your Pokemon up to level 100 and you're not even getting a held item, you're also probably not EV or IV training at all either.
Definitely not.
Not intentionally.
No.
Right.
No, for sure, no. But like, I think you're gonna come across that no matter what. Like that level 35 Clefable, like you're gonna have people who do that. You're gonna have people who just are I want the Rayquaza.
Yeah, but if they saw that
raid.
their teammates were all level 100 and all had held items, they would realize that they need to do that too.
Yeah,
regardless of whether they did
too much
IV training, regardless of what moves they chose.
No, I think you're giving people too much credit, to be honest.
Yeah, but if it's all lined up there and it's 100, 100, 135...
They're like, I have people that are going to carry me. Honestly. No, honestly. I see that happening.
In Go, but it's different in this game.
I see your point, Bobby, but so. I think the difference there is that host quits the raid when the 35 locks in.
Well, that's on the host. That's what I'm saying, though. That's on the host. I'm saying that this level 35 person's going to be there either way. There's going to be people
if you were able to see the levels, the host could quit.
Oh, yeah, that's a completely different point. That's not my point. My point is that the person who's level 35 is gonna do that until they do come across a team that tries to carry them. Yeah,
I mean, like the level 35,
they will realize why the hosts keep quitting on them.
The level 35 could get carried if they didn't press any buttons, because the raid boss doesn't attack you until you attack it, and then I think it's like 90 seconds. Then the raid boss will attack, but even that's buying you so much time. There's still so many people 2 years later that don't understand. Like, I was wrong. Like 2 years ago, I was like, speed doesn't matter in raids. Like the raid boss can just attack you 2-3 times in a row, and it doesn't matter how fast you are. That's true to this day. Like the raid bosses do have, like, I'm going to attack twice, and there's nothing you can do about it, or I'm going to attack on turn 0 before you can even do anything, and there's nothing you can do about it. But the more I've done raids, the more I've realized, speed does actually matter. The boss doesn't attack you unless you attack it. And if your teammates wait for a reflect, the reflect will go up before they hit the button, and then they'll be defended properly. Like, there's a bunch of little things that I think make raids so cool, but people don't want to take the time to learn that, right? They just go in, they just kind of tunnel vision on this is what I'm going to do. And the reason I like doing the random stuff is there's part of me that's helping in a way where they're like, oh, cool, I didn't know that Pokemon could do that or whatnot. Or pay attention to me. I'm using a really weird Pokemon. Maybe just look at what I'm doing. But there's no communication, right? When I was helping people in Destiny, everyone was on microphones, and it was this is my first time doing it. Okay, cool. And so many people in at least Destiny were so willing to be like, thank you so much. Just tell me what to do. Tell me where to stand. Tell me what I have to do. What gun should I recommend? And I do think that would exist in Pokemon. I do think that exists in every game where people are like, this is my first raid. What should I bring? Like, what should I do? And I think that would go so, but like Nintendo and Pokemon are just like, no voice chat. We can't have you talking to anyone.
Yeah.
Except for that weird Nintendo online voice chat thing that they had going on for certain games.
I almost
Pokemon
wish
was not part of
that like on that raid screen, you could like if it had like level and if it had like held item, I wish there was almost like I'm going to be an attacker, I'm going to be support, like almost like Pokemon Unite, where you could just like say what your role is.
We've brought this up. I think Greg brought this up a year ago, at least.
Yeah.
It's would be helpful. I don't think it's as necessary as showing the level or the item.
Yeah, I think those are...
But it would help people build teams a little better.
Yeah, like if I came in and I was like, I'm support, like it would almost be like, oh, I thought we all just hit the dazzling gleam button.
Right.
It would definitely kind of maybe potentially show people who only ever look at the solo builds that they could be doing it a different way.
Yeah,
or like
I still think like we're talking about people looking at builds in the first place. Like I really think that there are a lot of people who are coming into this just like, I have a fairy Pokemon and I want
yeah,
shiny
there
berries.
absolutely are.
Totally.
So many people, right? Like so many people play these games that aren't even on social media or don't look at social media for Pokemon or aren't listening to this podcast or aren't whatever. Like then they just think, oh, I'm going to come in and I'm going to attack and I have 4 people who are going to help, and then they lose and they're like, oh, well, we must just not have done well as a team. I'm going to try it again. Like, and they're not looking at it like, oh, it's my fault that we're losing. Right? Like there's
yeah, I don't think that Wigglytuff person ever got the memo that way. Maybe it was your fault.
Not if they were coming back with the same Pokemon the next day. No.
They're just like, oh, I'm just not with good teams. Like I'm with bad teams.
Or oh, this must be just harder than anyone could imagine, right? Like because if that Clefable player like pressed the Y button and like looked at their teammates, they would see like, oh, everyone's like level 100 and I'm not. But they probably don't even know that they could do that.
Right.
Yeah, I think like raids in general are still such a new thing in an old franchise, right? Like when I first did a raid in Destiny, I went to like this website that I've never heard of, and then I like looked for a group, and then I was like really shy, and I got in with like one person that did the raid and like 4 other people that was also like their first time, and like I didn't know what all I knew was like what media was reporting. Like Destiny just added a raid, it's like the best content they've ever added, you need to beat the game to get it. And like I didn't play it until like 3-4 weeks until after it came out. And even at that point, I had no clue what to suspect. I didn't think like, oh, I need to look up a YouTube video or there must be some strategy. I just thought it was like, oh, it must be like the other content in the game, except with 3 people, it's with 6 people. And that first part, we spent like 2 hours on to open the door because no one knew what they were doing except one person trying to like walk everyone through. And they only did it once. And then we get through the door and then it's like another 2 hours to beat the boss. I sat in that first raid for 8 hours and I was able to do it. But like when I think about that with Pokemon, I just think like there's a lot of failing in 8 hours, to be fair. There's a lot of like dying and like resetting and starting over. And there's like one person causes the whole thing to fail out. And so everyone has to do it over. But it just feels like Pokemon players don't have that endurance or that mentality. Because they've been accustomed for almost 30 years to be like, I never lost a battle. Single player has been so easy. I just go through. I just hit the button. I've never used taunt in my life. Why would I ever use that? It doesn't do damage.
Yeah.
And that's not like their fault.
Right.
This is just new content. And they've just never done like a raid content before.
Right.
It's new content. It still seems so much like the content they're used to, though, especially because in Scarlet and Violet, there kind of are raids that you do with the NPCs throughout the game, in a way.
Sort of.
They're the bosses.
Yeah.
that are treated in the same way. You just don't need to know how to beat them any differently than a normal Pokemon battle. Whereas when you go in with other real people into these raids with Rayquaza or Mewtwo, you need to treat it differently. And the game doesn't ever really explain that.
And think about how many people have come into this series, not from the beginning, but from 2016, from Pokemon Go timeframe. How many people did that bring into the main series? And then you have people doing raids in Pokemon Go, and then they come over to doing raids in the main series, and they see raid, and they've been doing raids where they just spam attack a whole bunch. So now they're going into this raid in Scarlet and Violet, and what are they going to do? They're just going to, just like we've been saying with like the Dynamax raids in Go, same thing. Like they're going to come into these raids in Scarlet and Violet. They're going to spam attack. They're going to be like, I brought my fairy Pokemon against this dragon, and I'm going to spam attack because that's what I know to do in the other game that I play raids in.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyways, Rayquaza's out.
It's
People
not that
aren't
hard.
great at it. It's not that hard,
no,
though.
it's if you want it to be hard, bring a level 35 Clefable. If you want a challenge, bring a level 35 Clefable. A lot of
Make
Pokemon.
it impossible for your entire team.
A lot of Pokemon work really well, specifically Fairy.
Yeah, I've been using Azumarill. I just had one that was level 100. It was already powered up from... This was another thing that's great, is like we've had all these raids all this time. So it's like if you've been doing them over time, you have all these like built up Pokemon. And so, you know, you can go build something new, or maybe you have something that already works. You might have to just tweak a couple things on it. But yeah, it is a fairly easy raid with a lot of different Pokemon.
Okay. We'll take one more break. We'll be right back. And then we have some TCG Pocket news. So we will be right back. And we are back from our break. There are a little bit of TCG news, although some of it might be almost over by the time this episode goes up. First, they also we haven't talked about this, but the Pokemon TCG Pocket, at least the social media account, I think they're mostly active on Twitter, unfortunately. They're very good. They like respond to people. They're like, congrats on your poll. They're like, messaging is very personable.
I haven't seen any of that. I'm not on Twitter anymore.
Oh
yeah. A bummer. They're not on Threads at all.
Yeah,
so.
I hope they move to like Blue Sky and Threads as well. But like when the Mythical Island came out, somebody was like, my first pack was like Mythical the Celebi, and they were like, all I got was like a Hitmonlee or something. It's just like they're very funny. And you just don't see that with like the main Pokemon account.
Right.
Like the main Pokemon account definitely has gotten better over the years with like responding to people and stuff, but the TCG Pocket, they're very personable on social. Anyways, there was holiday event missions. You could log in to get new items. So ultimately they're giving 7 free booster packs. This started on Christmas Eve, so when this comes up, you'll still have time to redeem some of it. But it wasn't under your mail icon. It was under your missions, which made it confusing to people. So they're giving, day 1 was 12 hourglasses, which is 1 pack, and then 2 packs of Mythical Island, then another 12 for any pack, then 2 more packs of Mythical Island, then another 12. So ultimately 7. Niantic could never. 7 free booster packs from TCG Pocket. Niantic would be like, you got 5 Pokeballs. Enjoy it. Good luck.
Yeah.
Give us $5. We'll give you 1 Wooloo spawn.
Yeah. At this point, that's barely an exaggeration.
That's literally what happened. That's what happened last week.
I haven't found a Vulpix yet this week.
They're only in raids, I think.
What? They are? You got a Vulpix raid?
Yeah, probably.
I want my little medal.
I haven't found a Snorlax yet.
I had
I
a
think
Snorlax raid earlier on my way home. I did
they're
that.
also only in raid. No, they're not only in raids. Though,
No,
right?
I literally after I did the Snorlax raid, I completed a research and then a Snorlax popped up, and I was like, why did I even do this raid?
Yeah.
Yeah. As far as I can see, Vulpix is only. I could be wrong. Maybe it's in research as well, but it's in raids for sure.
I'm gonna ping the Slack.
Right now. Okay.
Someone send me a Vulpix raid.
One of the benefits of our Slack is that you can raid with people.
You can get pinged at 6 PM by me saying I would like to give Niantic $2 to finish this mission. Anyways, they also announced a new event, although this event is super short. So there was confusion by me like 2 weeks ago where I was like, they're calling these
Back
mass
to
outbreaks?
TCG Pocket, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Back to TCG Pocket. There's a mass outbreak that started on Boxing Day. So it started 24 hours before we're recording this. But it will be an electric type Pokemon outbreak. So similar to the fire outbreak they did.
Mm-hmm.
Which then probably leads into that there will be a water event after this if they're going in order. But like, I don't know. I think Wonder Pick is fine, but I find myself not using it that often because I don't really need any of the cards.
Okay, true. I agree with you, but that's coming from like people who spend money on this game.
Yeah.
Right, like,
well, as someone who doesn't spend money on this game, most people are still pulling primarily from the new set, which is much smaller. And even I have most of the cards from Mythical Island at this point. So most of the Wonder Pick packs, I also have all of the Pokemon that I'm seeing in there.
Yeah, but that's true. And it's definitely gone on a little bit longer. But I do remember that one of the nice things about the way they did the last mass outbreak was one of the cards that was available in those Wonder Picks, those bonus Wonder Picks that don't cost any currency. One of the cards was Blaine. And then that became incredibly useful when doing the Venusaur event because all of a sudden you could run the Ninetales Rapidash with Blaine deck, and people were like, "Oh, I was able to get my 2 Blaine cards from this mass outbreak, and didn't cost me anything." And now I have the Blaine cards for the Venusaur event. Did somebody respond to you?
Breaking news. I'm joining the Vulpix raid right now. I'm in.
Oh, we've again, the benefit of our Slack is that at any hour you can pretty much ping the channel for raids, and
I need my collection challenge medal to go up, up and up.
Oh boy. So I think
actually I'm going to spend the $70 in Pokemon. I'm giving Niantic $2 for a Vulpix.
I also gave Niantic $2 for a Vulpix, and it was down the street. I could have just gotten up off my couch and walked down the street. But
I was running errands all day today, and I didn't see a single Vulpix. So, I did try today. Otherwise, I've been locked in my house the last week.
Weather.
Yeah, it's been very cold.
Yeah. So sorry. Back to TCG Pocket again. I think that you're right, especially because now that we've been going on longer, right, and the trainer cards haven't really like Lieutenant Surge, right, is the trainer card that's a part of these Wonder Picks, and that's been out since the very beginning, right? So people more likely have Lieutenant Surge at this point, but I still do think there is some. I mean, it's free. Like they're not even they don't even cost currency, right? And you're potentially getting
some of them do. There's the special ones.
The rare picks do, yes.
Yeah.
But even the regular bonus picks, which is where like Lieutenant Surge cards are, or Helioptile, which I've pulled like 5 times, is in there as well. But it's still good before the water event to have this. But it's not like top of the list, right? It's not like, oh, I need to make sure to get my Helioptile again. It's it's fine. And
Yeah, it's just like that's how I feel about the whole event. It's just like it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Like
yeah,
I guess the standout card is just the Zapdos that has been in Genetic Apex, and
Yeah.
I
like
still only have one.
I got the little
I still don't
notification
have
being
any.
like,
So
what does it say? Like a special pick or bonus pick or
Yeah.
something
Rare
like that.
pick or something.
Rare
I think.
Rare pick.
Yeah.
And it is that Zapdos, and it's like 4 other cards, but it's not
Mhm.
like it's not even reduced. It's the full 3.
Yeah.
So it doesn't even feel exciting in a way of like it presents itself as exciting. It's like rare pick. And then you get there and you're like, but it's the same.
I mean,
you could have seen Zapdos the last 2 months just off of
Oh,
Wonder
yeah.
Pick naturally.
Yeah.
So I wish it was like 2
reduced
Zapdos
by 1. Yeah.
or like reduced by 1, or like there's a 40% chance of getting Zapdos instead of a 20. Like it doesn't like feel great. And like one of the missions is get the Zapdos.
Mm-hmm.
And this event is only 5 days long.
Yeah.
And you can like if you're totally free to play, which is who I'm thinking about right now, that's maybe like 2 opportunities in the 5 days, because it only fills like 1.5 a day or something like that, or is it 2?
Oh, without having to
you
spend.
still get
Yeah.
plenty of the hourglasses for that if you're free to play.
But
Speaking
I
as a
have,
free
like,
to play,
I
They
have
go
like
down fairly quickly. Those hourglasses for the Wonder Pick.
they do.
They
Yeah.
do. But I have like 700 of them because I just never feel like I never use them. I just wait till it gets to full. Like out of
700.
Mythical Island, I'm only missing 1 card, not the secret rares. It's the Tauros, which is funny. The card I complained about the most.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I just don't think like this event is exciting, and I didn't really think the fire one was that exciting with like Blaine and everything. And
The fire one did annoy me because it was hard to get that Arcanine, and it probably is going to be hard to get this Zapdos. And when
Yeah.
you can't complete an event despite opening the app multiple times a day and playing the event every chance you get, that's frustrating.
yeah, I think the concept of the event is cool. I think it needs to be slightly reworked. And I don't know if that's like making it cheaper or making the rare pick more than just a 1 out of 5 chance. Like I feel like just something has to be different. At least with like the Bulbasaur Magnemite. Like there were some times where there was like 4 Bulbasaurs, 1 Magnemite, or 3 Magnemite, 2 Bulbasaurs, or
It increased over time. I don't know if you noticed that. It got more Bulbasaurs over time as the event drew closer to its end.
Oh, did it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I feel like those were like actual events. Like this is not this. It's not the same.
Yeah,
Like,
this is a different kind of event from that.
Yeah.
yeah.
And I don't like it.
And I do appreciate that, like, unlike in Go, like, there's not a counter to be like, oh, you completed the event, you get an extra number that shows you completed this event, or you like, like it just goes away. And it's like, yeah, if I don't get that Zapdos EX, okay, I didn't get 1 hourglass. I didn't get like 1 extra Wonder Pick hourglass out of it, right?
Fair.
Like they don't. It's similar to like the 5 wins in a row event, where the rewards for the 5 wins in a row were just like emblems and shine dust, but the rewards for participating in 5 battles or 15 battles were the pack hourglasses.
Yeah.
Where it's like
That
that's
was
the
thought
stuff
through
people
well.
want.
Yeah.
And you don't have to win 5 in a row to get the good stuff, And similar here, like, okay, I don't get the Zapdos EX. I want a Zapdos EX because I need one more so I can have a proper like deck with them.
That's my other complaint about Wonder Pick. It does have a little mark on it to show you whether you have received the card yet or not, but I think that it should have 2 marks on cards that you've received 2 of, so that you know.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't there like free Flair with the Zapdos?
There's Flair. I don't know if it's free, but there's also extra Flair you can put on your Zapdos. That's just during the event.
During the event, you can put it on
a specific type of Flair.
I see.
That's
yes, I'm
different.
looking at
it's
it right
an
now.
exclusive Flair. For
so
the
you
Zapdos.
have to. you have to have extra Zapdoses, which I
Mhm.
don't. I have exactly 2. So you have to have an extra Zapdos, and then it's 720 Shine Dust, and then it looks like it kind of looks like the sparkles from like Sword and Shield.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So they're not even gonna give it like that would make the event exciting. Just give me the free Flair. Why do I have to?
Again, like they don't even like. Is it even? They don't even like. I know that this is kind of like whatever, but they don't even call it an event, right? It's a mass outbreak.
Yeah.
It's not a mass
Mhm.
outbreak event. It's not like they don't say the word event, whereas they do with like they literally call those like little tabs with the missions. They say event when it's an event. They're literally calling this one mass outbreak. It's like
Mhm.
they even don't qualify it as
Have you guys
an
used
event.
Flair?
Yeah,
Just to try it out.
Okay, so
I've actually used quite a bit, but only on, or pretty much only on the items that you can get from the shop,
okay, so
because you can just keep buying.
And then crush them. Yeah,
Yeah.
and get the flare.
maybe you know the answer to this question. If I get a third Zapdos, so I can then put this limited time Flair, which I think is
If it only takes one extra one. Some
Steve's
of the
going after
Pokemon
it.
to put any kind of flare on them, you
Yeah.
need to have like 3 extra cards
Mm-hmm.
to
it's saying
crush.
in the shop it said 1 Zapdos.
Yeah, this one it's because it's the exclusive. It's just one
Okay.
extra.
Okay,
But yeah,
so-
some flare cost more.
Okay, so let's say I'm hardcore. I have till 9 p.m. Pacific time, December 31st to get this.
Uh-huh.
I want the Flare. If
Uh-huh.
I apply it to 1 Zapdos, is that applying it? But I run 2 Zapdos in a deck.
It is only applying it to the single one, and
To the
only in
one.
that deck.
What?
Yeah.
So it's not like I buy this Flare and all my Zapdos going forward have
No.
it?
One of your Zapdos has it.
Yeah.
The one you applied it to. Like this
Yep.
Game's a
specific
0
one.
out of 10 right now.
The flare could be improved by a
The
lot.
flare, yeah, the flare is the
This
flare.
is some real Destiny mechanic right here. In Destiny 2, they changed how all the shaders worked. Shaders would change your armor color. And not so in Destiny 1, you could collect all the shaders. I did. I collected every single one. So like you beat the raid, you got the shader, you could put the shader on any of your outfits, and then it would be like green and purple or red and black or red and white or all black, right? They had like there was like 200 and some shaders in the game over 3 years. Collected them all. They were cool. In Destiny 2, they were like, what if that cool mechanic we did, what if we put it in this game and you can now apply it to just your arms or just your helmet or just your chest piece? But also, you could only use it 3 times and then it goes away and you have to go like find it out and like get more of it. Like you beat this raid and you got the raid shader. Awesome. You can only use it 3 times. You want more of it? You got to beat the raid again. Like,
Yeah.
Yep.
no one likes this. You've only done this to make us do this content over again.
Mhm.
It's not a great experience for anyone.
Hmm.
Yep.
Like if I want the work to get the flare for Zapdos, it should just be for all my Zapdos or the one Zapdos it's being featured for.
Mm-hmm.
So I would have to get 2 Zapdos extra and then crush both of them and then spend the
you have
Yes.
to spend one on each individual one. Yeah. All of a sudden, that 700 Wonder Pick Hourglass isn't looking like so much, is it?
I'm not caring about this feature. I will say, though, unlike Pokemon Sleep, I do think the holiday deals right now for Pocket are good.
Oh, the gold discount?
The gold discount, yes.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
do think they're pretty good.
Yeah. I would say they are also quite good. I think we worked this out in the Slack. It's like I think it was like buying the 2 cheaper ones. So there's one for $10 USD, one is $40 USD, and one is $70 USD.
Mhm.
And it's like if you buy the 10 and the $40 ones, it's almost like a better deal than buying the $70 one or something like that, based on how much gold you get, how much extra gold you get. But yeah, they're pretty good deals. I know a lot of people are buying it, and then Mythical Island, like we said, Mythical Island's a small set, so it's like buying and holding till the next set comes out. Because again, it's one of those things where like you're gonna buy the gold, like you're potentially gonna spend this much gold later.
If
so
you
it's
are
like,
someone who is planning to spend money on this game in the future regardless, yes,
Yeah, of
this is a
course.
good deal.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, when we're talking about discounts on like paying money for things, that yes.
Well,
If
they
you
said
are
the
a
new
free to
set
play
was coming out
player,
in January.
that's the rumor, yeah. January.
Or they also said trading is coming out in January, so we'll see.
They said
Yeah.
they would start. Didn't they say they would start allowing people to trade some cards in January?
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, so I got $100 gift card from the Pokemon Company. I'm only saying that just to disclose that was not my money. So I put $100 in the pocket, and then I put my own money, $23 in with the guard. I bought the Gardevoir thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think this will be the second time I give it money. I'll probably just get one of the holiday bundles, but I don't plan on spending it. I legitimately plan on saving it until the next set. Like don't like I'm missing probably 10 cards from Mythical Island, like the one Tauros and then like 9 secret rares or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm still missing like the gold cards from Genetic Apex, but I also have everything from Genetic Apex to build every deck.
Right.
So like I think I'm missing like Beedrill. Like, I don't think there's a meta Beedrill deck floating around.
I could try to build one. No.
So like unlike Pokemon Sleep and unlike Pokemon Go, I personally feel like there's a point in Pocket that I have felt twice where I don't feel like I need to give it money at all. Like there was a point after Genetic Apex where I was like, I'm good. Like I don't feel obligated to give you any money. And then there was the point after Mythic Island, which was literally the day of Mythic Island, where I was like, well, I pulled everything I wanted, so I don't have to, I don't feel like I need to give you money to open packs. And it's like, now I have a whole month probably or longer until the next set comes out. So it's just like, I have 3 booster packs a day. I'm totally good.
You have 3 booster packs a day because you're giving it money.
Yeah, well, you got me there. Yep, still doing that membership. That's not real money.
See, and that's where I come down to with, so for one, I feel like, again, if I'm putting $10 a month into the game, I enjoy the extra pack every day. Like that's 30 extra packs a month for the $10, which would, you can spend $10 and get 10 packs right now, or, you get the $10 and you get 30 packs plus the little extras you get for the premium missions. So I feel like that's worth it, but I'm in the same place as you where I did buy one of the gold discounts and I'll probably buy the like middle one as well for the purpose of saving to the next set, because like I know myself well enough to know that I will spend money when the next set comes out. And so I might as well get that discount up front and just do it now. Save the gold because I don't feel like I need to open any more Mythical Island than the free packs will allow me, and just save it until the next set.
Yeah.
Which is a nice feeling in a game where it's like I'm buying this with the intention of like spending it later, which maybe a lot of people do feel like that. I don't feel like that with games very often. In games with microtransactions, rarely do I feel like I'm spending this money now to use it later. Especially like in something like Go. I am spending that money now to use it right now.
Well, the deals in Go aren't usually on the coins, they're on the items.
That's true. They did, yeah.
And
Go
in
did
this
recently,
case where the deal is on the gold, you can buy the gold pack and kind of save that, and you don't have to worry about accidentally spending the hourglasses you've already purchased or anything like that.
Yeah. Hannah, are you the type of player? I don't know, because you're the free to play here. You're the voice of reason.
Yeah.
Me and Bobby spend the money so you can play for free. That's how it works.
It is.
Are you saving your hourglasses for the next set? Or are you just opening pack after pack, like when you have it?
I'm just opening pack after pack.
Okay.
I definitely could save hourglasses for the next set, but I've never really reached a point where I feel like I don't have enough packs to open. I'm still getting the multiple packs a day to open. I'm still getting a ton of hourglasses from leveling up and doing battles and playing the events. and I don't feel like I'm missing out. I'm not completing the sets, but that's kind of a given as a free-to-play player.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like when I went into Mythical Island, I had almost 400 hourglasses, so that was like 3 10-packs. So that was like
Wow.
30 packs without spending any money with Mythical Island.
Yeah.
And now I'm back up to like 120, 130, and I'm just gonna save those until the next set. Like I don't feel like using my hourglasses to get more Mythical Island is like, I don't know what I'm like. Nothing would change if I got like the gold Mew. I don't have it, but like,
Right.
it's like I don't need it right now. Like, if I get it randomly, cool. But like, I don't feel like I need to like complete my set, even though that's like the point of the game is completing your set.
Yeah, but they've made battling good enough that like, because it's interesting because like when you think about the physical TCG, it's like I don't play the physical TCG, and so when I'm collecting the cards, I want the ones that are like the rarest card, right? I want the ones that are the illustration rares because I actually like looking at those cards. I have a binder of illustration rares. I can flip through them, and it's like I love looking at the artworks. In here, I also like the artwork of like the rarer cards, but I'm also like more focused on the battling than I am like the collecting in this aspect. And so I don't
funny because we
care
didn't
as much
think
for
that's
that.
what this game was going to be.
Right, exactly. I definitely am surprised at how good the battling is to where it takes me away from feeling like, oh, I have to collect all the secret rares because it's like, oh no, I have the regular I don't know, Celebi EX. I don't need the immersive one because I can use the regular one, you know, like whereas physical TCG, I don't play it, and so I want that whatever the equivalent of an immersive card would be in the physical TCG. And in this, it's kind of flipped, which is also a nice feeling. Basically, what I'm saying is this game's great.
I feel like I was the only person that came back from that New York meeting and was like, the battling was awesome. And like no one else, it felt like, cared about the battling. They were just ripping as many packs, and they were like, "Oh my gosh, Charizard or Mewtwo."
That's what was popular.
Yeah. And I was just like, the battling is exactly what I want. Shorter matches, a little bit quicker, smaller decks.
What's interesting too, and I don't know if I'm alone in this or if this is how I think this is how a lot of people feel, especially people who collect the physical cards. One of the things that when you go onto social media and you see people pulling these cards, right? You see the people pulling a physical card like the Umbreon from Evolving Skies that everybody wants, right? You see that picture and you're like, okay, that's cool. I have the picture of it. The picture is there on the computer. I can see it on my phone, whatever. But I want the card. I want to hold the card, right? Like I want to be able to hold that card, turn it, see it. It's my card. It's in my hand. For whatever reason, think it's because it's all digital. You see these cards being pulled so often on like Threads or Twitter or whatever. I no longer like feel that need that I really want that card on my phone because I'm already seeing it on my phone.
Because either way, you're seeing it on your phone. I think if the Flair was better, it would solve this problem.
Yeah, maybe. Well, it's not a problem. Honestly. That's the thing. I'm okay with it because I'm not needing to spend more money to get.
It's a problem for the app.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I think if the Flair was better, it would solve this problem.
Yeah.
Because it lets people customize their cards and makes it feel like the cards are more theirs.
That is true. That's true for sure. Because, yeah, when you see it 100 times on social media, I'm like, cool. Like, I've seen the immersive Celebi. Yeah. Or even that one is a little bit more like, I want that because you get the video and all that. But, like, just all the full arts and stuff, it's like, well, cool. I'm seeing this on my phone. Now let me go open the app and also see it on my phone. You know?
Yes. Although, speaking as someone who has been able to play a deck with 2 gold Mewtwo's in it a fair amount, it's really nice to have that kind of thing going. It's just fun.
Hannah over here trying to get that third one to crush.
Hannah's like the free-to-play player trying to trick everyone into that she's like a huge whale with gold Mewtwo's and like
the Flair.
And the Flair, the playmat, and the card sleeves. She's like, joke's on you guys. Haven't spent a dime. I just want to point out that I've given this game technically $130. 0 gold cards.
Thought you got one.
No, I don't have any.
That was me, who's also spent.
Okay.
near that amount on this game, but at least I have one gold card to show for it.
Yeah, no, the gold cards don't really do anything for me. Like,
They look cool.
I like the immersive
They
cards
do.
way more than the gold cards.
Yeah.
Well, the immersive cards, and if you don't know, there is music with those immersive cards. So turn on your sound, because most people play these games right without their sound on. Turn on your sound when you get an immersive card, because they have their own individual music. And while not as good as Pokemon Sleep music, it is very good.
Yeah. Okay, that's our episode for you guys. Thanks for making it 10. Thanks for listening. I don't have any call to action. Check out the page. Go to the Patreon.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah, you should join our Slack. It's really
It's a good
fun.
place.
I'll ping you at 6:00, being like, I need a Vulpix. It's been a good year. I do sincerely appreciate everyone who has listened and made it through the year. I know Hannah. I'm not going to speak for Hannah, but I think Hannah and I had a great time at New York Go Fest meeting everyone.
Yes.
And doing that raid event with everyone.
Yeah. Highlight of the year. Go Fest was fantastic. Still so grateful to be able to be there.
Bobby should be at Unova Tour.
That's the plan.
Oh yeah, that's coming up.
That's the plan.
That's the plan. I'll be at Unova Tour. I think next year will hopefully be a lot bigger of a year for Pokemon. I know for sure we're getting ZA. They did say 2025. Pokemon Day is about 2 months away. So I know overall this year has been pretty slow for Pokemon. I think that was obvious for everyone. I think that's just been obvious in the communities, outside of the communities, all that stuff. So to the people who made it to the end of the episode, listened throughout the year, it really means a lot. Hopefully we've made Pokemon still a part of your life. We've still made it fun. We've still made it exciting. We've still complained about Niantic. So that's really, I think, all you can ask for, honestly. But very excited for next year. Thank you for listening. This has been another episode of the Pokemon Podcast, and we are
super effective.
Super not bringing a level 35 Wigglytuff to a Rayquaza raid. Don't do that. Please.
Bring Clefable instead.
Clefable.
Yeah, bring the
No,
level 35
that one.
Clefable
Don't.